everybody, welcome back to my channel. So as school has already started, I thought that I would do a back to school college saving tips because if you didn't know, I already graduated back in 2012, and in the years that I was in college, I learned a few things as far as saving goes, because I honestly don't know how I survived college without, having a high-paying job. And I don't remember ever asking my mom for help. I mean, she would, cook me food, and I think she might have bought me some clothes as well, but I don't actually remember. But I came up with 8 college saving tips to help you if you're watching this and you're starting college, and hopefully you can use some of it or all of it and save lots of money. And it's not nice to be overpaying for things, and there are a lot of opportunities out there to be overpaying, as I will mention throughout this video. Okay, so I've got my phone here and I've got the list in my camera roll because I took a picture of it from my computer. Anyways, you didn't need to know that, right? So the first thing that I found really saved me a lot of money was cooking my own meals. There's nothing more expensive than going out to eat every single day, or even just like half of the week. That's a lot of eating out. And so I found that cooking my own meals really helped save me some money for other things that I might need it for, like school supplies or books, because you have to buy books when you're in college, but you can rent books as well. But anyways, that leads to my second point. You can buy used books. At the university that I went to, across the street was a used bookstore specifically targeted for that university, which is amazing because I got books for a discounted price. Or you can go online and buy it either from Amazon, or I think there was one called Abe Books, and then there's so many other places like Hot.com or even Craigslist, but be careful on that one. And the only time that I ever bought books from the university bookstore was when it was a completely new book for that year and no one had ever owned one before. And so those were the times when I'm like, okay, I can't help it. I mean, I have to buy the book. So that's the only time I really pay full price for a book. But then a little trick that I learned is that once I get my syllabus for that class that I have to buy the full price book for, I would check and see how much of the book would I actually use. And if it's not that much, like literally if it's like a few pages, or let's say 100 pages out of the 300 to 400 page of that book, I would make copies of it. I don't know if that's ethical or legal, but as far as college saving goes when it comes to books, I did that and then returned the book. So that's how I did it. I don't know if it's actually allowed, but yeah. Which leads to the third point is invest in your own printer if you have a computer already. I found this very useful, especially if you're a freshman in college, because you write so many papers, you have so many rough drafts, and then who knows, like sometimes they need 10 pages of it, and then you need to print the whole report probably 4 times or something like that, because it needs to go through 3 drafts before you can submit the final piece. And having to pay for a printing job every single time that you have to print at least 10 pages at a time is expensive. I don't actually remember how much it cost me to have to pay for a print job, but at the library they had a printer, and you had like an ID card that you can put with money in it, and then you can print however much you need as long as you have money in the print card. But I found that it was just way too expensive to be doing that, so I invested in my own printer because I already had a laptop. And honestly, it's so much cheaper to have your own printer. You can print however many pages you want for however many times you want, because it's honestly more cost effective to have your own. Okay, so the fourth point that I have, or the fourth tip, is to carpool. If you already have friends that go to the same university and you live around the same area and you happen to have the same schedule, it really is a cost saving tip to carpool. Like for example, if you have a class at 2:30 in the afternoon and that's the only class you have, and you have a friend that has the same schedule, it's better if you would carpool, because then you can save money, and also you can save on a parking pass. If you establish that for the whole week you have one friend that you can carpool every week, you can just share the parking pass and then just switch it between cars, whoever's in charge of driving that day. And I know that is a little bit of a stretch because everybody's schedule are their own. It's not, you know, always gonna be matched with yours and things like that. But it's still a little bit more cost effective. Like even if you have to pay for one parking pass once a week, I feel like that's still a little bit better than buying 2 passes for each person. Yeah, so carpool. Also, it's good for the environment because you wouldn't be emitting twice as much if you're carpooling. The next college saving tip that I have is to live off campus. One thing I found when I went to college for the first time was that the dorms, first of all, the dorms were incredibly small. Like my room now is huge. The dorms probably, this room probably would have fit 4 dorms, like for 4 people. It's ridiculous. I first saw the dorms and I looked at the closet and I'm like, that's not a closet. There's nothing you can fit in that closet, honestly. But I was lucky enough that I found housing off campus with the help of my mom, and it wasn't that far from the university as well, and I paid half the price of what the dorm would have cost me. So I think that's really nice. Granted, you would have more bills to actually think about, but it still doesn't equate to how much you would be paying in the dorms if you actually choose that route. The next tip is kind of an obvious one, but get a part-time job. There are jobs around the university, or even if you go to a community college, I'm sure there are jobs available at the actual school. If not, there are jobs out there, restaurant jobs, other jobs that might be more tailored to your skills. My first ever job was at a restaurant, and embarrassingly enough, I lasted 2 weeks and then they said, we don't want you to work here anymore. And that's when I realized I should never work a restaurant job ever again. There have been times when I have been quite desperate for a job and I thought, you know, maybe going back to a restaurant job is gonna be a good idea because I really need the money at the moment. And even at those desperate times, I didn't go back. As much as you might need the money when you're in college, I would suggest finding a part-time job that you would actually enjoy, because there's nothing worse than being miserable at a job that you hate and then having to go to school and trying to focus. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to balance that. So yeah, good luck. The next tip I have for cost saving when it comes to food is to join clubs. And this is a little bit silly, but clubs have free food. And when you're a part of a club, you get free food. Not only that, but you also make new friends. But hey, priorities, right? You need food and they have food. Simple as that. The last cost saving tip that I have is to take advantage of your student discounts. I didn't do this when I was in school often enough, and I kind of regret that a little bit, because everywhere you go, you could ask if they offer a student discount, and if they do, then great. You save, what, 10% maybe? And there's a lot of opportunities out there to get a student discount. For example, like if you are buying school supplies, you might get a student discount. All you have to do is ask, honestly. It doesn't hurt to ask if they offer a student discount. Or even if you're going to something completely random, like if you want to go to an event, or not an event, what am I trying to say? Like an amusement park or something like that, you can have a student discount. Like some universities like mine even offer discounted amusement park tickets or discounted zoo tickets. So definitely take advantage of all of that, because you're not going to be a student forever and you're not going to have that discount after you're done with school, unless you have a military discount, which is a completely different thing. But yeah, take advantage of all of that discount. And also, if you're not opposed to it, you can also clip coupons and all of that. I still do that. It's so nice and so much fun. I don't know. It's just me. But that is all of the cost saving tips that I have for you. I hope it helped somehow. And if you're just starting college for the first time, I wish you all the luck in the world. And do not get caught up in all of those parties, please, because the parties are not gonna help get your grades up. So I'm just saying. Alright, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!